Hello and welcome to another episode of What Would That Sound Like? The show where I take the ideas of today's top thought leaders and show you how to communicate them to your teams, companies, and conferences. I'm Sean Patrick, and today we're taking a look at Draper. His thoughts from his book, Create Space. Look, if you're feeling super busy, you're feeling overwhelmed, like you don't have enough time, space, or energy to focus on you, to focus on your teams, if you're just so bogged down, you've got to create space. You got to find time. It's the key to personal and professional growth, development, and so many other things. So I'm going to break down 2 simple ways that you can create space in your life starting right now. So let's find out, what would that sound like? So many of you guys are really busy right now. You've got a lot of stuff to, even just being here is a sacrifice, because you know that every minute you're here, there's emails piling up, text messages, deadlines coming up. You're busy. Yes, the truth is we're all busy, all of us. Did you know there used to be a time? There used to be a time where people tried to fill space. There was more time than they had things to do. We're not living in that anymore. This is 2019. We don't have time to fill space. We're looking for ways to create space, to buy space back. We don't have the leisure of having too much time. We have too many things. Now, chances are that's pretty much all of us in this room. We've got more stuff to do than we even have time to do it in. But here's what we need to know. Yes, we're busy. Yes, there's a lot of expectations. Yes, there's things piling up. But if we can't find time, if we can't create space, we will ultimately be doing ourselves and our teams a disservice, because creating space and creating time is a prerequisite. It's necessary for growth, improvement, and development, both personally and professionally. Now, I don't think I need to argue the importance of the need for time or the need for personal and professional growth and development, so I won't spend our time doing that. What I want to do is give you 2 ways to start doing that, to create space, to create time where you can focus on your own personal and professional growth and development. But before I get into that, I got to say one thing. I got to get this out in the room. Look, we've all got a lot on our plate. But you gotta know this. There's a difference between being busy and being productive, right? Yes. Can I get an amen? Yes. You know that person when you walk up to them or you're walking by them and you're like, hey, how's it going? And they're like, busy. That's how it's going. It's busy, man. I just been busy with busy things. You're like, yeah, we're all busy, Jeff. We get it. You're busy. There's a difference between being busy and being productive. Am I right? Of course. So we need to know that before we can figure out how to create space, because we want to be productive, and creating space is going to help us be productive. The key towards creating space are 2 things: eliminating distractions and prioritizing. Eliminating distractions and prioritizing. Let's hit distractions first. We are a distracted bunch of people. And one of the biggest distractions in our life lives in our pocket. People can get a hold of us at any time for any reason. You could get a text message that's important for your work. You can get a text message that is unimportant about your dog. It doesn't matter. It is a distraction. Did you know that studies show that CEOs only get around 28 minutes of uninterrupted work time each and every day? That's less than a half hour. And even worse than that, for every interruption that we get, it takes us 10 minutes to get back to that previous level of focus and concentration that we were at. We're losing so much time because of these distractions. It's not just CEOs, it's all of us. We get distracted so easily. So what can we do to eliminate that distraction, to buy back those 10-minute chunks that we would have been spending getting back to that concentration? How can we eliminate distractions? Well, the first way is this: close your email. A lot of us have our email on our computers all the time. Every time you're trying to work on something and an email pops up, you're distracted, you're looking at it. Should I answer that? Should I put it away? Oh man, I totally forgot about it. Close your email, open it up periodically as you have natural breaks in what you're doing, but don't let it just constantly be banging on the side of your head. Close your email, put your phone on Do Not Disturb. It is one of the greatest conveniences that you have on your phone. Do Not Disturb. You can check it periodically, just like your email. If someone is in need of your attention, you can keep it on, but if you're eliminating distractions, Do Not Disturb. If you're in, a lot of us, maybe we don't have like an office of our own, like a closed solo office. Maybe we're in a combined or open air workspace. Put on headphones so people don't distract you. Make a sign that says, I'm in the zone right now. Don't distract me, or I love you, but I'm working. Whatever it is to let people know that you're focused in and you're trying to buy back crucial time. So that's the first thing, eliminate distractions. The second thing, the big thing, is prioritizing. We lose a lot of time because we don't prioritize what's important in our lives. So I'm gonna give you the 4D rule to help prioritize what's important in a way that we can create some time, create some space, and buy back time for our own personal and professional growth and development. The 4 Ds are this. If you're a note taker, write it down. The 4 Ds are do, defer, delegate, and drop. Do, defer, delegate, and drop. We'll go through them one at a time. The first one, do. If it's in the do category, these are tasks that are essential. They need to happen. They're urgent. They need to happen soon, quickly, or right now. And they're tasks that can only be done by you. Now, a lot of us aren't going to like to hear this because we're control freaks, because we think we do everything best, because we struggle with delegating, whatever the reason is. About 90% of what you do can be done by someone else. Let that sink in. About 90% of what you do can be done by someone else. That upper 10, that final 10%, those are the do tasks that can only be done by you. They can't be delegated. They can't be outsourced. They are things that only you can do, that top 10%. So figure out what that is, make a list of what you do, and prioritize those do tasks. Now, you're not gonna like hearing this either, but you gotta put the most difficult ones at the top of your list. You got to start the day off chipping away at those difficult ones. Why? Because we tend to procrastinate, because it's easier to check emails on the top of our list because we know we can get it done. But you got to prioritize and put those most important and urgent tasks that only you can do at the top of your daily list. The second D is defer. You got to defer items that don't need to be done immediately. They're still do items, they're still tasks that only you can do, but you gotta put them lower on your list. So like we were talking about, we gotta put the most important ones at the top and put the defer ones down at the bottom because we're trying to prioritize and use our time wisely. The third one, and we're gonna spend a little bit more time on this, is delegate. Delegate. Those are things that don't need your personal touch on them. They're not things that only you can do. They're things you can hand off to someone else. Now, here's the deal, is that many of us, we feel guilty about delegating. As if we're dropping a workload on somebody that they weren't expecting. We feel bad about it. We think that we're being nice by not delegating, but the truth is, we could just as easily be communicating, hey, I don't trust you to do this. Just as easily as we're trying to communicate that I don't want you to have to work more now. Some of you may have people on your team that you actually don't trust to do this, and that's a different conversation you probably need to have with them. But the truth is, we think we're saving a burden from someone, but we could just as likely be communicating that we don't trust them to do a good job on the task. Instead, think of delegation as a way to help your people grow. That's what we're talking about, is getting time to grow and develop ourselves. Think of delegation as a way to help your people grow and develop their skills, and as a sign that you trust them to do a good job. But remember, when you're delegating a task, you need to remember to be clear in the expectations that you have for it and what needs to get done and what the outcome should look like. And at the same time, you have to let go of control. You have to avoid telling them how to do it. If you're willing to, if you're gonna delegate it, you have to let them do it the way that they're going to do it. Yes, if they need help, you can help them. Yes, if they need guidance, you can give it to them. But avoid telling them exactly how to do it. Who knows? They could come up with a better way than even you could. That's ridiculous. You're the best. That's why you're watching this video. Next, 4. The fourth D stands for drop. Anything that's not essential, drop it. You may think everything I do is essential. That's why I do it. But the truth is, we have things on our list that we do because it's easier than the things that we need to do or defer. We have things we do have on our list that we're just good at. We have things that use a different side of our brain that really helps just give us a break from our intellectual thinking or whatever we do day to day. There's things that we can drop. You just got to figure out what they are and be honest with yourself about them. And if you can't do that, find someone you trust to take a look at your list and tell you what can be dropped. Because we're not trying to figure out how we can hold on to everything. We're trying to figure out how we can create space. So remember, creating space in our lives is a necessary prerequisite for growth, development, and improvement in our personal and professional lives. And you can create space by avoiding distractions and remembering the 4D rule, which is do, defer, delegate, and drop. By doing these things, you can buy back not just time for your own growth, personally and professionally, but you also buy back a little bit of your own mental sanity. So make sure that you check those 4D rules. Do, defer, delegate, and drop, and avoid distractions to buy some time to create some space in your life. That's what that would sound like. I think that's awesome. I think it's a really cool way to try to get that space in your own life, whether it is on a personal level or on a professional level. So try to avoid distractions and use those 4Ds. If you like what you hear and you want to go back, you can check out my post here on LinkedIn, wherever you're watching this. You can see my whole backlog of the What Would It Sound Like videos. If you're interested or you're going to be doing a presentation or a keynote, I would love to set you up for success. There's a link below that I will email you your very first, free from me, 5 things you need to know before giving your first keynote. You're not going to want to miss that. If you want to be in touch with me, I'd love to connect with you. I'd be a part of your network. Check me out or connect with me on LinkedIn. You can also send me a personal email to my personal email address. That's SeanPatrickDJ@gmail.com, SEAN PatrickDJ@gmail.com. And until next time, we'll see you right back here on What Would That Sound Like?